Rossi, also known as Aliverdian, is believed to have used at least 16 different aliases.
16 aliases? No, typos.
These are very serious charges that this man faces. They claim this man faked his own death to evade those charges. Did you fake your own death?
Sharon, we're sitting having a conversation. I've never been dead to anyone.
After so many years, I know him inside out. I know my husband does not have tendencies as a rapist.
He is going to be needing a very large team on the pitch to try to say that I am a rapist, because not only are we terrified because this is a vicious lie, but we are also incredibly disgusted by the fact that we now have to live our lives in a secretive way because my wife can't even walk down the pavement to get a pint of milk. And it continues.
Some people would say you're saying it a secretive way, but you're now speaking to various media outlets, including us. Why? What is the purpose then of this interview?
The truth needs to be known.
All right, Chase, what do you got?
When somebody's being deeply deceptive, they'll be stressed out. This level of stress does a few things to our bodies, but one thing it does more than anything else is it lessens our ability to rationally process information. So what you're seeing here with the faking your own death question is his inability to realize that any rational person in the world would either simply say, no, maybe that was not me, or never. Instead, he hesitates a lot. And then he goes directly into rationalization instead of just a simple denial. This is a bad move. His wife here then does the same thing. She fails to make a denial about him faking his death and this whole accusation of being a rapist, and instead rationalizes the exact same way that he does. She says, I've known him for years. I know my husband does not have tendencies. And this is getting more ridiculous by the minute. And here's another reason I'm grateful for high-resolution video. If you watch this again, you're going to see a signal that usually requires being close up. You can literally see his pupils dilate when he's delivering these lies. And we're not just seeing verbal deception here. Keep this in mind as you're watching these clips. He's lying from within a fake identity, while lying in a fake accent and lying with his mannerisms, and even having to maintain this English vernacular, like the pavement quote. And all these by themselves are largely increasing cognitive load, which makes him make these mistakes a lot. He's also shifted breathing into his chest, which we tend to do when we're stressed out. I'll let you guys tackle the rest of that stuff. Scott, what do you got?
All right. If I was interviewing this guy, and I wanted to get it over with fairly quickly, I'd say, look, son, let's take that mask off and get a look at them choppers. Because he's got a gap in there. It's big enough you could have a child's party with a clown and a magician. That's how big it is. And you can see it, look at it through this mask as you're looking at that. And I'll put up a picture of him when he was younger. And you tell me if this isn't the same guy. This is what I'm talking about. I cannot believe this guy's doing this. That's why I think it might be a bit. Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, so let me just ask you this. I'm going to say word for word what he said. You tell me exactly what question he's answering. Sharon, we are sitting here having a conversation. What question does that answer? Anything you want it to, because it makes no sense. So they're right. That's enough right there. When he's asked a hard question, did you fake your own death? Just yes or no. Yes or no. I'm with you, Chase. The pupil dilation you can't miss. I agree with you. This is great high res and it pops up. He doesn't address the question when he's asked about these 16 different names. He goes into some tirade about typos. Well, look, if it's not me, I would have said it's not me. Forget the typos. Who cares how they got there? There's no declaration of innocence, only an excuse. And when he gets into that whole thing where he's talking about typos, he's fluid and smooth. His tirade is fluid and smooth. There's no choppy speaking like he's breathing poorly or any of that. There's so much stuff here. He's eye blocking. There's a vocal fry. Even the dog's meter goes off and the dog goes, "Woo." I love that part. It made me laugh out loud listening to it. But just walk through it. He also gets a vocal fry that he has not had up to now. We're not comparing him to other people. We're not talking about a vocal fry and other people. He didn't have it, and now he's got it. Watch the interviewer as she blinks in disbelief. There's a thing that people will write in comments often, our thing, and say, blink, blink, blink. It's because we all know that's when the person's going, hold on a minute, what's going on there? The interviewer goes, blink, 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 just as she's listening to what he's saying. There's just so much stuff. And Scott, I can't believe you didn't mention this one because it's yours. If you look at him and pay attention to all this stuff from here on, I want you to pay attention to his breathing rate versus his choppy speech. And when those two are out of line, you know something's up. Then Scott, he does the best example of non-aligned illustrators I've ever seen. When he goes, the whole truth needs to be known. So he's out back there too. It's a beautiful one. Mark, what do you got?
So more of the con of the suffering, which is live our lives in a secretive way. Okay, the suffering here is they now have to live their lives undercover. I'm sure Scott will go more into this, but for me, the idea of the con is you can only con a greedy person, and you got to find out what they're greedy for, and you've got to lower your status. You've got to take yourself down to give them more confidence. The confidence trick is about causing other people to be confident about the position they're in. Then they will take maneuvers that most other people who don't have that confidence will just go, well, that begs belief. I mean, it can't be like that. You can't be getting that amount of money for that. There's got to be something up. But the person is so confident in themselves, with that confidence been given by somebody else, by the con artist. They're so confident that they lose rationale. Let's work out later on how maybe this wife has lost all rationale around here. Maybe some con is being played on her at some point. Let's look at his accent. There's a great benefit to the type of the archetype or the cultural type that he's gone for here, Greg, which is the Oxford kind of buffoon. It's the Boris Johnson. It's the Sir Bernard Chumley. It's Billy Bunter. We'll talk a little bit more about Billy Bunter later on from Greyfriars School. But what that archetype allows you to do is kind of fluster around and baboon around and kind of stuff and not really get anything out. That with the mask, it's a complete close down. I mean, there's no information is going to get through. And some people would go, oh, you know what? It's just a defunct lord, somebody of status who's lost all their power. Poor guy, leave him alone. And that's the confidence trick for me being played. So take a look at Boris. Boris, great example of somebody who would not quite know what they were doing, where they quite were, so that you go, oh, it's poor Boris. Poor Boris is a bit confused by the whole thing. Underneath that, there's a whole different set of workings going on. But so the accent he's going for, actually not bad for the archetype, not bad for the character, is the extreme of that Oxford buffooning kind of accent. Somebody who you might want to be your Oxford Don, somebody who is your professor at Oxford, bright guy, a bit odd now and again, bit eccentric is the idea behind that. Scott, what do you got on this one? No? Chase?
I went, mine was just really short.
I was last? Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Unbelievable that I wasn't last.
Pick first next time.
Yeah.
I told you why I'm always last, because it feels like I'm first because I'm the first one to talk. So he goes, he's already gone.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
One of those tape replays.
Nicholas Rossi, also known as Alaverdian, is believed to have used at least 16 different aliases.
16 aliases? No, typos.
These are very serious charges that this man faces. They claim this man faked his own death to evade those charges. Did you fake your own death?
Sharon, we're sitting having a conversation. I've never been dead to anyone.
After so many years, I know him inside out. I know my husband does not have tendencies as a rapist.
He is going to be needing a very large team on the pitch to try to say that I am a rapist, because not only are we terrified because this is a vicious lie, but we are also incredibly disgusted by the fact that we now have to live our lives in a secretive way because my wife can't even walk down the pavement to get a pint of milk. And it continues.
Some people would say you're saying it a
you-
secretive way, but you're now speaking to various media outlets, including
Absolutely.
us. What is the purpose then of this interview?
The truth needs to be known.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.